From the News Talk STL studios in St. Louis, it's the Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. On tonight's episode, Cameron Moore and Miranda EMDE on praying with Trump at Mar-a-Lago, Justice for the J6ers with PETER TICKTIN, and the Right Mind Studio Band, Mitch Murphy and the Murphy Tones. Now putting the fun in your dysfunctional world, here's your host, Todd Showalter.
Well, I guess you know that we finally bowed down to a few of our listeners out there. I don't know if you know about the the controversy, I should say. Have you been reading a lot of the emails that our show at 5 o'clock, our show is usually on Saturday nights at 5, which it will remain, but apparently a lot of our listeners are upset about that because they're already going to bed. I mean, they say we eat supper at 4 o'clock. They called it supper too, and then we'd like to go to bed, and we're missing the show. So, and I don't know who's happy about it or who's not happy about it, but we will also now be on Sundays at 2 o'clock so that they can actually eat their supper while they're listening to the show at 2, and they can even go to bed like now, say an hour earlier. Isn't that great?
This is a huge deal for the Right Mind Show because I remember you marching into the big boss's office.
Yeah, I did.
And you said either this show needs to make money or we need a second hour sometime randomly in the week. And they said, well, you're not getting any money.
Exactly.
So instead of playing this whole hour of white noise so people could take a nap at Sunday on 2 o'clock, let's put you on again. It's literally no extra work for us.
That's just it. It's like, hey, it's no sweat off our back. And then I said, hey, guess what? And as Joe just walked by, Big Boss Joe, and I said, this will be a great segue because Dan Bongino is leaving, okay? That whole 11 until 2 o'clock spot is open that I already announced on other shows. We are taking over, okay? Because you just can't get enough of this shtick and show, right? Not stinking show. Shtick and show. And what did he just say? No, that's 11 until 2 a.m.
Yeah, we got our AMs and PMs mixed up. I'm sure if we go back and kindly remind him, no, we meant 11 a.m.
Yes.
He'll give us an opportunity.
Exactly. Why wouldn't he? We're here. I mean, we sit in this room and just do our stuff. I mean, I may not leave. I may be a squatter in the studio.
I'm not afraid of Dan Bongino. I'm willing to call him out right now. There's certain things I did not like about his show. One thing was how many muscles he had and how deep his voice was. I mean, that scares someone like me, and I think we can bring some changes to the show if we get up on there.
Well, gosh dang darn it, we don't have muscles, and we don't make anybody mad. And plus, he's always angry. We're not angry at all, are we? Are you angry? I'm not angry.
I'm not angry, and what he would do for a while is he'd make his producer talk into his ear. Producer Jim wasn't allowed to be on the radio for the first, 3 or 4 years.
Oh.
And it would only be in Dan's own ear. And we had to pretend like we knew what he was saying. He'd ask Jim a question and he'd wait. And then he would laugh, yeah, that's right, Jim.
Right.
But he recently let him talk more. And that's where I've learned that producers like me should not be on the air. He needs to stop that.
I see that. That is exactly another reason why we're going to take over this slot is because if you remember from day one, you as the extraordinary producer that you are, what did I say? No, you're on the show, okay? And you're the reason that the show is good, okay? Jim may be better than Dan, and maybe that's why they have a little bit of a problem, and now he has to go and be assistant to the FBI or some stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. FBI deputy director. I bet he gets a little badge, too, and he's going to flip it off at people. Hey, look, I'm a deputy. Whatever. Deputy dog. That's
Barney
my deputy.
Fife or something? He's the Barney Fife of the FBI?
This is the one bullet that I keep in my pocket.
Andy? Exactly. Hey, speaking of pain, you saw, what did you see the other night? Novocaine? What is that all about?
Oh, man. Did you know that on the Tim Jones and Chris Arp show on the weekdays, I'm a producer there,
and
they don't let me talk, and the show's really bad. You've convinced me that's why the show's bad.
Yeah.
And on Fridays, they let me talk about movies for 30 seconds, and it really bugs me. So I said, Todd, can I talk about movies this week for just maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes?
Whole show, take it.
You said, go for it. You're the man.
Yeah.
There was a wonderful film I just saw called Novocaine in theaters now. It stars Jack Quaid, and he is the love child of Dennis Quaid and what's her name?
Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan. Oh, he's such a cutie. You can tell that both of them are white parents, and he's also white. So
Yeah.
it's probably both of his real parents.
I
Unlike
think
your
so.
friend who had that
I
issue.
told you, because that's how I knew. I mean, because he's one of those people. We were talking off the air about this. He resembles a little bit of each parent. Okay, I mean, you can see a little bit of Meg Ryan.
Jack Quaid.
You can see some of Dennis Quaid. And I have a good friend of mine. They're a white couple, and they have a black child. And it was like they insist it's their child, but I don't think it resembles them.
That's why your mail's not getting delivered. The postman's off doing diddly over there with the wife.
He's diddling the diddler.
But back to Novocaine, it is about a young man who has this genetic disorder where he can't feel pain.
Oh.
And he's got his whole house rigged up where he's got tennis balls on the corners of everything so he doesn't accidentally whack into them. He only drinks liquids because if he starts chewing, he may bite his tongue off and not even know it. It is that serious.
Wow.
He has a timer on his watch to remind him to go pee every 3 hours because if he doesn't, bladder, whoosh,
His bladder burst?
It could burst.
Wow.
Well, one day, working at the bank, because he's a bank manager, these robbers come in, shoot everything up, and steal the girl that he's got a little crush on, and he goes to save her. She's been kidnapped, and he has to deal with these kidnappers, and, he gets caught a couple times. They try and torture him. They stab him in the knee, and he has to fake, like, that's the worst. And then he uses cunning and his brains to get through this.
Yeah.
And it just made me think, I had so much fun during this movie. Maybe we could do a little mental exercise. If we have this genetic disorder where we don't feel pain, what would you be most excited to not feel
There's a
anymore?
pen right here. Why don't you stab me in the thigh with it? Would you like to do that? Anything for this show. I mean, you know me. I'll bend over backwards. I mean, would you like to poke me in the eye? You can stab me in the leg. Whatever you'd like to do.
Speaking of bending over backwards, this one thing, it hurts so bad when I bend over backwards. When I'm in the shower, I got my eyes closed, and I'm just taking the water from behind, right?
Sure, taking it from behind.
And then I do my stretches because I got to stretch out the bones and stuff.
You stretch your bone in the shower.
And then sometimes I accidentally find myself too far back near the shower head when I'm doing my stretches, and I bend over.
Oh, gosh.
And the water spout goes right up the keister, and it hurts like heck. And if I had this genetic disease, that wouldn't happen anymore. Or, shampoo getting in your eyes, that wouldn't happen anymore either.
Yeah, well, I think bending over, with your bone in the shower, I mean, that sounds painful as it is. I mean,
I fall asleep with the heating pad on sometimes, and I wake up with second-degree burns. That'd be helpful.
Well, what kind of heating pad is this? Is it a toaster oven?
No, it's like a little pillow that I cuddle at night so I don't have to pay for heating the whole house. I'm just heating what's under the blankets.
Oh, yeah.
And then I wake up 5 hours later, and I got to peel off the skin like a bad sunburn.
Well, aren't you ever... See, I can't use like a electric blanket or a heating pad or any of that because I'm always afraid I'll suddenly become a bedwetter and I'll electrocute myself. Don't you ever worry about that?
That happened in every camp movie I ever saw growing up, and
Really?
I was so scared that would happen. I don't know if that is a real thing, but I bet you it is. It's documented in these movies.
I'm not going to try it. It's the same thing as peeing in an electrical outlet. I mean, that the charge goes right back into your Weezer. And so those type of things actually happen. No, I don't have it. In fact, my wife, she actually, true story, because what do I always say?
93.7% of the show is true.
It's 94.2 now.
This week?
We've actually gone up. She bought me an electric blanket for Christmas one year, and I thought, you just want to kill me. Why don't you just drop a toaster in the bathtub? I mean, I think she wants to see me deed.
This thing that has electricity in it that also makes me pee. Okay, I think I get what you're trying to do here, wife.
And
that I don't bring up.
I pee, don't I? I'm a constant peer, and I don't have a bladder or a prostate.
Not a trickle, just a flow.
Oh, it's a good gusher. That's one good thing I have going for me. They say when you get older, your stream isn't as strong. Boy, not me. I'm a fire hose. That's me.
And another thing with this Novocaine genetic disorder, the thing that I get hurt the most, this happens daily, is I'm always wearing a hoodie. I'm so skinny, I can't keep my body temperature regulated.
Well, that's
I'm
why
always
you have
wearing
a heating pad.
And then every doorway that I try and walk out, the hoodie pocket gets caught on the doorknob.
Oh.
Just yo-yos me back into the door, and my face just goes splat. And this is a daily occurrence. And if I had this genetic disorder where I didn't feel pain, never again. I would just hit the door, bounce off, and go about my day.
See, my pain is more like
your penis? Yes.
Pain. Yeah, no, not that one. Well, not yet. It's more auditory type. I mean, there's certain sounds. I've got a relative. Okay,
the Q-tip is too deep. It's external use only. Go on. You have a relative?
Yeah. Don't get me going on that because that hurts, my friend. That really hurts. No, but I've got a certain relative, okay. I'm almost positive doesn't listen to the show, but it's got has a voice. Okay, it's like a screeching high pitched voice that just it just makes me it's just painful. It's just painful, I tell you. So those
Sounds
are the
like a woman's voice. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's
I got that with
definitely.
the
I'm
whole
pretty
gender.
sure she identifies as a woman, but it's got this screeching, horrible voice that just. It's painful. It's just very painful. So those are the most, I guess I would rather get hit by a brick falling down the steps than have to hear this sound. Okay, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, so that's my biggest pain. So if I were in this film, I wouldn't feel the pain of hearing her screech. Is that what you're saying?
Never again. Nope.
Wow, that sounds like a great film. That reminds me, did you hear about the woman that identifies as a turtle?
You just brought this up earlier, and I didn't know if it
With
was
some
actually,
disclaimers you did.
this person
No.
changed their last name to like Terrapin, and I know that's a type of turtle.
Well, I know, but it even said she identifies as a turtle. But what did you say? You scolded me, okay? That shows that you're starting to become the big boss here like Joe and everybody else, because you said, all I said to you, did I not? I said, did you hear about the woman that identifies as a turtle? And you said, we are not going to do any trans bashing today.
Not on this episode.
And I said that are there trans turtles? I don't think turtles are trans. Are they? Am I breaking the rule by saying that she identifies as a turtle?
This article on Fox News was real tricky. What they did was they had the Sarah McBride controversy as the top video, which had nothing to do with this story. So
Is
I
she
was
a
so
country
confused.
singer?
Sarah McBride. I think that's Martina.
Oh, okay.
Sarah
Back to the
McBride, she's a
story.
representative. She had a scuffle the other day where she is trans and she's in the house, and then someone called her Mr., and then she called the person back Madam, and it was a fun little thing that went back and forth. But the turtle story is even more fascinating because I don't know of a turtle being a gender. That's why it was so interesting.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, first of all, this is where she's at. She's out in Portland, Oregon. Okay, and let me just preface this whole thing. Okay?
And I've got the audio. Whenever you call for it, I'm ready.
Go ahead and play it. I didn't realize you had it keyed up. Yeah, please.
Hello, everybody. It's JD, turtle and pronouns. Pronouns are turtle and they, them. Hello, everybody. It's JD. I use they, them, or turtle for pronouns. Hello, everybody. It's JD, they, them, and turtle for pronouns.
What in the hell?
She doesn't even go by she. No. It's not just she turtle.
Hello,
it's
JD,
they,
them, and turtle.
Interesting.
What the, back to my point. And she's from Portland, Oregon. Okay, now, you know what people say, hey, is there a place you'd really like to visit? Yeah, sure, I'd like to, go the Colorado River down, through the Grand Canyon, stuff like that. And there's all kinds of places I'd like to visit. If there is one place I never, ever want to visit, is Portland, Oregon. I mean, everybody there apparently is nuts. And she is from Portland, Oregon. She's on some mental health board, which means the blind are leading the blind out in Portland, and she identifies as a turtle. Where do you come up with this?
I have never in my life seen a turtle in Portland. I've never been to Portland either, but I know for a fact all of them are from New York City.
Yeah.
When I grew up, 1985, turtles came out the sewer of New York City, and that's where they're from, and that's where they damn well stay.
And they have their own cartoon series and stuff, don't they?
With Italian names, yes.
What is it, Leonardo or
Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael.
That's not her. This is JD the turtle.
That's not an Italian
JD,
Renaissance painter
hello,
at all.
Everybody, it's JD. What was she holding her nose while she talks? I mean, and that's not turtles. I don't know much about turtles, okay? I think they're amphibians. I did learn that, and that's one of the few things that stuck in my head.
They lay eggs.
They lay eggs. Well, she laid an egg, all right. But she's JD, they, them, and turtle. And she's on the mental health board.
Well,
what in the hell?
There are some turtles in Kentucky now that I think about it.
Mitch
McConnell, yes. I'm ready to fight crime against Baxter Stockman and Mr. Splinter.
He actually looks like a turtle, though. JD the turtle in Portland just looks like JD the nut job.
I had 3 seizures the other day fighting crime, so I'm going to call it quits.
You want to see? I do. You want to see my? This is my imitation of Mitch McConnell. How was that? See, I just froze. There, okay?
Should I put in you falling down the stairs and post on that? Oh, damn it.
Oh, I've fallen and I can't get up.
I'm on my shell.
Hey, Mitch. Hey, it's great to see you back there. He just waved. He's never done that before. Is he happy today?
He's only got one drumstick. Where did the other one go?
I think it's something about your shower story. He got all giddy and all of a sudden the other one disappeared.
Oh, he had an itch. There it is. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, it's good to see you too, Mitch. No, they just flipped me off. Anyway, speaking of shows, though, we got a crazy show today. We've got we're going to be doing like Catholic talk. Okay, we've got our buddy Cameron Moore.
They're buying up all the radio stations. KDHX 88.1, which is bought up by some religious station. We're going to be next if we're not careful.
Well, all of a sudden we have double Catholic guests here that want to talk. One of them gave mass with the Pope. The other one has a big gala. Is that how you say?
Mass. It's a tumor. Remove the mass.
So you want to be a soccer player, Mr. Williams.
And also nothing against religious stations. We're actually on 99.1 HD3, so Joy FM HD3. So
do you know I did their original logo?
What?
I did Joy FM's original logo. Okay,
I love that.
In fact, the exclamation point that you see on every soccer mom's minivan. Okay, that was mine. Okay, and then they kind of adapted it, and I don't know why I wasn't asked to.
The new one looks bastardized.
I
stole
think so.
some creative license from you.
I think, and they did, but we're not going to go down
the Catholics
that route.
will save this show. We're sorry.
I guess so. Well, they're going to come on. They're going to talk about their Catholic talk. That could be a whole other segment, Catholic talk. Hey, when we come back, we're going to have a great time, though, I promise you. In the meantime, I'm Todd Showalter with my bestest buddy, Joey V. This is The Right Mind Show. We'll be right back.
Hit it, Mitch. Coming up next on The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter, going to Mar-a-Lago to pray for Trump with Cameron Moore and Miranda, MD. Welcome back to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter on News Talk STL. And now a man who was once kicked out of church for dressing up as Han Solo and yelling pew 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 while pretending he had a blaster rifle, Todd Showalter.
Pew pew pew.
And we're back. I'm Todd Showalter along with my bestest buddy Joey V on The Right Mind Show. And now we have not one Joey, but two guests. We've got Cameron Moore and Miranda. Did you say your last name MD? Is that how you pronounce it, Miranda?
Yes, MD.
MD, okay. Well, we're going to do a little bit of Catholic conversation here because you have a bunch of different stuff going on. Cam, you've got a gala going down in Mar-a-Lago. Miranda, you've been giving Mass with the Pope or something like that. Jump on in here. I don't know who wants to start, but we'll start with Miranda. Why don't you jump in and tell us about this whole giving Mass with the Pope thing, and we'll get to Cam and just make it a giant free-for-all. What do you say?
Sure. So you found me online. I'm a lifelong Catholic. I've done quite a bit of work more recently in the last few years with various dioceses across the country. I have spoken at the Vatican a number of years back, met Pope Francis several times, and now I'm more heavily involved with organizations like Catholic for Catholics, which are the type of organizations we need right now. They single-handedly had a lot to do with getting President Trump elected by the Catholic vote, which we know is the largest, the most important population for any election. And they are, as we all know, there's issues as like immigration, a lot of things that are coming out right now that the church needs to face head on. And Catholic for Catholics is doing that. So I'm excited to be part of working with the organization and part of this upcoming event, which is going to be historic.
Right. And so you're doing that along with Cameron. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Cameron, you're one of the co-hosts. You're an ambassador, from what I read, of this big event that's called Catholic Prayer for America. It's going to take place at Mar-a-Lago. Why don't you tell me a little bit about all that and what your involvement is?
Yeah, so yes, I'm the host of the event, and this is our second annual event. Last year was a prayer for Trump, where we had, I think, about 250 people gathering with notable speakers. Last year we had Jim Caviezel, Tim Ballard, Roger Stone, General Michael Flynn, and it's people that come together for fellowship, for prayer, and to bring prayer upon President Trump's home. Now, this year we have Jack Posobiec, Roger Stone, General Flynn, Bishop Strickland, many other notable Catholics. We went above and beyond this year. I, with my foundation, American Heroes Association, sponsored spots for 100 priests to attend this event. They're not they're not the most inexpensive events. So this was a major donation, but it's worthwhile to bring all these priests together where they can steer the message that is going to be delivered and bring it back to their congregations or their networks or their podcasts throughout the country. So we will all be gathering with over 100 religious figures, religious leaders, to pray for our president, pray for our country at the home of our president. So this is going to be probably the biggest faith-driven event in Mar-a-Lago history, definitely with the most priests, and it's going to be really exciting because in the book of Matthew it says where 2 or 3 get together, God is always with them, and there's going to be a lot in this room. So I feel it's going to be a very, very powerful event. I'm looking forward to it, and that's in 6 days on March 19th, which is the feast of St. Joseph's Day.
Wow. Okay. Sounds like a huge event. Well, what is the feedback from a lot of other Catholics? I mean, when it comes to the current Pope that we have, because there has been some a few things that he said in disagreeing with Donald Trump, and there's been it seems almost like, and I don't know, I'm not on the inside, but it seems from just from what I've seen, almost some friction going on. Is there friction? I mean, are they pretty much? How's that? What's that all about?
Yes.
I'll leave that. We'll leave that one to Miranda. And Miranda, maybe you want to talk about the arrest of the 2 pro-life priests today as well. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Emphatically, to answer the question. I mean, and these are the things we need to be honest about. So within the church, and I am a devout Catholic, but there are issues across issues that we all care about, whether it's immigration, pro-life. Pope Francis, to answer your question, has kind of taken a stand on certain issues that many Catholics are not comfortable with, and that has created a divide within the church, I think, between different ideologies. And so, I mean, let's be honest, he is a more liberal, progressive Pope. Mm-hmm. And so you see that even across some of the bishops and cardinals, like Cardinal McElroy, that just is now the bishop in Washington, D.C., which was very strategic, as they will be very close in trying to advocate and work for certain issues with the federal government. And as we all saw, the USCCB, the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, did recently sue Trump for the exact issue around immigration.
Yeah.
And specifically Catholic Charities, which is the largest travel agency that exists. And Tom Holman says that they are supporting immigration, and yes, they're doing some good work, but with that, we have illegal immigration coming in. We have trafficking going on, drugs that get smuggled in. So there should be a pause, and that Catholic Charities should be investigated like any nonprofit organization, and really looked at with a closer eye. And there are a lot of Catholics that support that.
Well, going back to the event, okay, and obviously, at Mar-a-Lago and, Donald Trump's home, and you're right. I mean, the Catholics were very, they were a big part of getting him elected. What can we expect from this event? And is Donald Trump actually going to be there?
We don't know where President Trump will be at any given time.
Yeah.
But what we can expect is the largest faith-based event to happen ever at the president's home, which is very exciting. And Miranda, I'll pass this off to Miranda so she can talk a little bit about the different speakers, mm-hmm. the priests, and the impact that they're going to have with their messages they're going to deliver.
Okay.
Yeah. So the full speaker lineup, if you look, I won't go through the whole list, but every single person that's going to be on that stage has faced some level of persecution, and they haven't backed down. So we have, from a J6er to prisoner of war to a bishop that is very well known, that's been persecuted within the church for speaking up and standing up for the truth. So the entire lineup are people and leaders that have been persecuted on, one level or another, and that have faced that persecution head on with boldness, with courage. And thanks to Cameron and his foundation sponsoring 100 priests, which is unheard of. Mm-hmm. The priests, and I've reached out and been in touch with many of those priests and clergy across the country. And to an extent, they're facing the same thing. There is a looming fear factor that is happening with church leaders, because they see the repercussion if you do speak up, and maybe challenge some things that the church is doing or that the Pope is advocating for. And so I think this event is really going to give everyone in that room, including the clergy, the 100+ clergy, that confidence and courage that they are supported. We are all in this together. And I mean, this is going to reach millions and millions of people, because every single one of those priests speak to thousands of people every single week. So the exponential impact is going to be huge.
Well, before I let you go, and I kind of led with it in the beginning, and I got to ask you this, going back to it, Miranda, you gave Mass with the Pope. Now, what is it? What do I have that right, or what is this all about?
Yeah,
I don't know anybody that's ever given Mass with the Pope, so I'd love to hear the story.
I was asked to do one of the readings at the Christmas Mass, which midnight Mass at St. Peter's Basilica at the Vatican. So I was the most nervous I've ever been in my life, standing up there and looking out, and all you see is like a sea of red caps, which, all the cardinals and bishops that were there. But
right.
It was exciting.
Well, how did you get to do this? I mean, how were you chosen?
Just some work that I've done there at the Vatican over the years. And so it was a little bit of a surprise, but a great opportunity, nevertheless.
Wow. Yeah, I'll say that sounds like a very big event. Okay, well, good. Yeah. I mean, that beats any church service or Mass I've ever been to. So good for you. Well, Cameron, Miranda, it's been a pleasure having you both on. I mean, I'm excited about your event. Sounds like you have a lot of stuff planned. You have some great speakers. And again, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. It's great to know that, the Catholic, the majority support Donald Trump and the great new direction that we're going in. And I wish you best of all the luck in the world. Ked, any last words before we let you go?
I think that's it. Thank you for the opportunity to come on and share about the event, and thanks to Miranda for getting on the line and to talk about the state of the Catholic Church right now. It's been great. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. Well, thank you both. I really do. And it's c4c.com. If anybody else can check it out, /events for Catholic Prayer for America. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Take care. Bye-bye. This is The Right Mind Show. We'll be right back.
Coming up next on The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter, sticking up for the January 6th defendants with Peter Ticktin. Welcome back to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter on News Talk STL. And now a man who loves the president so much, he once accidentally said Donald Chump and then immediately begged me to edit it out of the show and promised to never tell anyone about it. Todd Showalter.
Like a chump, like a chump, like a chump. I did it all for the nookie.
Hey, we're back. I'm Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy Joey V. And on the line now is Peter Ticktin. He's an attorney. He's a friend of Donald Trump, and he's also working with our friend Mark McCloskey, from what I understand, some legal issues. How are you, Peter? What's going on?
Oh man, I'm hunky dory.
Oh well, that's great. Yeah. We are moving. We're on the go in terms of getting the J6 defendants together, and working on getting our case against them. Although we don't have it finalized yet, but we're working in that direction. Okay, is that like a class action type of lawsuit you're putting together?
Right now, the first way we're going to approach it is that way, except that it's very likely going to break down into what they call a multi-state litigation type of mass litigation, where you've got so many plaintiffs that it turns into like a massive, but each one is his own separate suit. But we really think that it is possible, considering that we've got a government now that understands reality.
Right.
That it's really possible that we're going to be able to get people taken care of without actually having to, go through all the pains and what we have to go through in terms of litigation.
Yeah, and going back to it, I mean, it was such a travesty. We've had people on the show that were, harassed just for being within like miles of the vicinity or something like that. So it was such overreach, and just it was all. It was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, so what if you're going to go after? I assume get damages for these people who were improperly incarcerated. I mean, how does that all work, and what is the process?
Okay, well, let me just go back a step because of what you were saying. Okay, because for me, okay, I mean, some of us spent time in prison. Some of us did this. Some of us did that. And I'm saying us, but not. I wasn't actually on the grounds, and I wasn't one of the J6 defendants. But for me, okay, you mentioned I'm a friend of Donald Trump, so I also am his lawyer in terms of the Clinton matter. Trump versus Clinton. I'm the one that filed that suit, working with under Alina Habba, and then also I'm the for about 9 months I was marshaling the evidence on January 6th for directly under Donald Trump, and believe me, once the word got out, it was like drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah, in
terms of I've watched more hours and hours of all of this, from the beating of Roseanne Boylan to watching all the videos, watching the so much information, and people don't even realize, but there's a whole other aspect to this because January 6th wasn't at all what people think it is.
Right.
I mean, the Sixers have a good idea. If they were standing where they were getting hit with percussion bombs, they know exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
And how it wasn't a bunch of we didn't have an angry Trump crowd. We had a crowd of Trump people that were singing patriotic songs, sometimes having prayer sessions, there with their families. It was peaceful until they started getting bombarded.
Right.
And even more so, there were other foreign entities, NGOs, and people from Homeland Security that were involved in planning it even months before. We have the evidence of this, and soon it'll be in the hands of our new Attorney General.
Yeah, and you even look at the media too. I mean, they were. I think they were as much of a guilty party as anyone, because you had stuff where basically it was like watching a Hollywood movie. They edited and they had certain parts that they'd let the public see, and I mean that was as bad as any. I'm talking about criminal. I think that was equally as bad.
Well, what you're doing is you're picking out certain aspects of the fact that our country was literally taken over there was an insurrection. It wasn't on January 6th. January 6th was just part of the insurrection. But the globalists, the far left, I mean, they have our educational system from kindergarten all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
They had all of our social media. We got back Twitter now, but basically they're still in there.
Mm-hmm. They've
got our media. They've got all our big corporations. They had the top of our military. They had the presidency, the Congress, the Senate and the House, both. They, which they stole in 2020. And that's why all the J6s were there, because they knew what reality was. They knew our country was being taken over by these forces, and they were not going to be good to us. So what happens when you get that kind of a government? What happens when you get tyranny, which is what we had, for 4 years? It wasn't President Biden who was the person that was pulling the strings. The strings were on him. They were pulling the people that were pulling them. And it came from whatever, the World Economic Forum, the Soros influences, the Bill Gates issues, and so on and so forth. So, what you're talking about in terms of the way the media was, it's just part and parcel of what was going on. We were cooked. Our whole nation was cooked. The world was basically cooked already.
Mm-hmm.
And if it weren't for this one man, we would lose it all.
Oh no!
And
yeah.
Fortunately, yeah, and fortunately, they're not doing the smartest of all things. They decided to prosecute him. They decided to go after him in all kinds of ways that people could see through. I'm telling you, if you look at the numbers now, when you've got 69%, according to a CNN poll, and 76% being about the highest. But, that's what those are the numbers of people that are approving President Trump's speech. Let me tell you, if you get Trump derangement syndrome, you're not approving one word of his speech because you're nuts. So, those people, they're getting to be lesser and lesser. We're getting our country back. And it's just so wonderful to see. And this time, they're not going to get away with what they got away with 4 years ago for a lot of reasons.
No, absolutely. And that's just it. I mean, I think a lot of it too. I mean, you mentioned like the Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, I think that's an actual condition because there are some people that I've just given up on. I mean, it's like it's not even worth it anymore. It's like, trying to talk to a tree or something like that. That it's time just to let them live in their fantasy land or alternate reality or whatever you want to call it. And it's not going to be an easy it's going to take some time to rebuild all the division and fractures that we have, but it's worth it. I mean, I think even what's going on now with the tariffs and things like that, I equated it last week to if you're going to work out or if you're going to start an exercise program, you're going to be sore at first, and there's certain things you're going to have to work through, but the long-term benefits are going to be great. And I think once everybody sees that, I mean, for the better. But
I love that analogy. I wish I thought of it.
Well, yeah. Well, you can use it anytime you want. But, you have those aches and pains.
Perfect.
Yeah, in the long term, I mean, you're a healthy person, but it's not going to be easy getting there. But going back even to the January 6th, I mean, it was such a travesty. And again, we've had people, we had a guest on that was miles and miles away in a hotel room that was, the FBI showed up to his home when he got back to California. It was just such overreach. And it was like, and some of the things that came out, just distractions. There was like the pipe bomb situation. Hopefully that all comes to the forefront and people see what the actual facts are. But I got to tell you, Peter, even with all the facts right in front of him, I think it's hard for some people to admit that they were wrong.
Well, they're so deeply entrenched in their beliefs that it's hard to get them out. Look, I'm a person of science myself. I know I'm a lawyer, but I was in medical school when I was 20 years old, and I only did 1 year because I really wanted to be a lawyer. But my background's all in science, so I know what the difference is between what you know you don't know, and what you don't know that you don't know. Okay, and because you either have evidence for facts or you don't. And people who believe in facts are basically, there's a saying that belief is the enemy of knowledge. And I'm not talking about belief in God or, I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about belief in facts.
Right.
And what happened in terms of January 6th, these people that have their beliefs that have no evidence really to support it. Okay. Now I'm blessed because, or maybe cursed, I don't know, but one way or the other, because I have all this in my mind because I was put in a position where I had to look at it. I had to look at the facts. I had to watch what actually happened on that day. And going beyond that, in terms of like, who are these people, and then investigating them and finding out that they're Ukrainians, for God's sake. Why are those Ukrainians involved with this? And so on. So, there's so much more that, but there's not everybody can see the facts. Nobody, J6ers can because they were there. Right. But most people, they don't actually know what's true and what's not true. So when you get these people on MSNBC and CNN and on the networks smearing, and the way they do it, they're so convincing. You get people on whenever on public radio, you hear them talk. I get up every morning listening to public radio just to get myself upset, I think. But but when you hear it, and it does get me upset, where they say and which was the big lie talking about the election, that we were lying. It's said in such a way that it's just as a matter of fact. So of course it's the big lie, and everybody basically gets, people get sucked into it. And once they're into it, it's very, very hard. But the good part of it is, once their eyes are open and they realize what reality is, they can never close them again. Not so easily.
Yeah,
because because when the truth has the beauty of everything being consistent.
I tell you what, my friend, it's always a pleasure to have you on. It's always, I wish we had more time because we could talk about this stuff for hours. But I look forward to the next time you're coming back. And any last words before I let you go? For anyone who's interested, anyone who's suffered through this, you can go to legalbrains.com. That's my email. That's my domain. That's the website for the Ticktin Law Group. Okay. And believe me, we're on to helping. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's a travesty, but I'm glad that you're on top of it, and hopefully people. I don't think you ever get those years back. I mean, there's no exchange for that, but at least you'll be compensated in some way. Well, thank you for joining us, and I hope you'll join us again soon. Okay. I look forward to it, and thank you so much. Thank you. Right. Bye. Can you imagine that, though? I mean, seriously, you just happen to be in a crowd somewhere, and next thing you know, you're in jail for 4 years. I mean, it's crazy. It reminds me, I don't know if it's as bad, but it's almost like that Hulu show you were talking about the guy that's in what is he? He has to stay in a room all by himself, and he's only allowed to enter magazine contests. What is this? I mean, is it as bad as that you were telling me about before? Nobody knows what in the hell I'm talking about, but is it as bad as that? Explain what I'm talking about.
Sure, on Hulu, there was this documentary about a Japanese reality show, game show called The Contestant. Right. That's the name of the documentary on Hulu, The Contestant. Yeah, they threw a naked guy in a room for a year, gave him a bunch of magazines and stamps and envelopes, and said, you can only survive on what you win. Right. And so, it sounds like the exact same plot.
Well, here's my problem with that, okay? You have stamps and postcards and stuff. You're going to be relying on the Postal Service to actually get these cards to wherever they're going. And we all know that the Postal Service does not work. So did this person starve to death?
Almost. I don't know why. He was able to leave if he wanted to, but his need for fame was so much, it was pulling at him. He needed to be famous, so he stayed in the room.
And that was it.
And he didn't know it was being broadcast either. So when he got out and reached the goal of, 10 million yen worth of prizes, he got out and he was world famous and didn't know it. Okay. And they surprised him right there. He plopped open his wiener in front of the whole world.
Wiener?
Yeah, he was naked. And then they dropped the curtain and all of his adoring fans are right there.
And he didn't know.
And he didn't know he was famous. Oh,
was his mailman there?
I wonder how many times he opened the door for his prize and his dong was out. Because he'd win something every week.
Ding dong. Get it? That's the doorbell, but it's not.
Would the mailman switch off? Like, I don't want to see this guy's dong today. Can you go and deliver his prize? You know what? I heard actually Samsung created a new phone, the Samsung J6 Galaxy. And what it does is it rolls up. Instead of it being, a big block, it rolls up real nice. So you can keister it. If you do go to prison in a gulag, you can still make phone calls.
Okay, now we've gotten a lot of, speaking of calls, we've gotten a lot of calls, and I do want to preface this. They say whenever Joey says keister, you mean butthole, right? Is that what you mean? I mean,
yeah, I'm not a medical expert, but yes, I think that is the term they used. We'll have to call back our friend, who is it? Miranda, MD. She's a doctor.
She has MD after her name. But whenever you say it goes up your keister, people are like, what does keister mean? And that
no one says that.
That's what they say. And I think, each individual person that contacts me, I say, he meant butthole. And then, what? And that's what I get. Okay, so every time you say keister, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's a phone that you can put in your butthole.
Yeah, it's the Samsung Galaxy J6 that you can put up your keister whenever you are going to the gulag for a year or two.
The only reason I'm making you go on and on with this, don't you? Because I'm hoping you'll do your Christopher Walken watch imitation. Will you please do it?
He had a watch up his ass. It's going to fall through the ice. The ice. Severance.
I could listen
to that.
Are you
watching Severance?
See, that, okay.
Oh.
You know what? That's it. Nothing is everything on the show was okay, but that's all I had to hear. That's all I want you to do that as my ringtone or something. Can you do that, please?
Ringtone. Yeah, of course.
You had a good time today. I've had a good time today. That was my favorite part. We just be Christopher Walken for the rest of the show, will you?
Oh, of course.
No,
it's my weapon of choice.
I'm giddy.
Hey, congratulations on expanding the show. If you're listening on Saturday, we're also on Sunday. If you're listening on Sunday, we're also on Saturday. It's incredible. Saturdays, 5 o'clock. People get real sleepy around that time, and that's why they don't know the word keister, I guess. They don't know.
No, they're really confused.
The Saturday people
what does a keister mean?
Stupid. The Sunday crowd, they're going to be a lot smarter because it comes on at 2.
Well, they're coming right off of church and everything, and they've got all that,
ready to sin again after that.
Yeah, I'm ready for some sin now. Okay, I've got all that cleansing. Let's go listen to the Right Mind Show and feel dirty. Yeah. I bet you Joey's going to say keister. Yeah.
I'm going to use that into Monday when I say, hey, y'all ready for a thruple? I'm about to keister this
That's
thruple.
The other thing that came up. I mean, the whole thruple thing last week. I got to ask, what does thruple mean? What is keister? And I said a thruple actually has something to do with the keister, depending on who's in the thruple. Is that right? Do I have that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Well, you know what I always say, don't you?
What do you say?
If you don't have a right mind, you don't have a mind at all. In the meantime, I'm Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy, Joey V. Mitch in the background doing his Mitch thing. Oh, but wait a second. We are not ready to sign off yet because do we have a sound effect? Guess who just walked in the room as we are signing off? It's not a sales legend. It is the sales legend, the closer, Ethan. How are you doing, buddy?
Gentlemen, this is truly an honor. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, I'm glad that you seriously.
The pleasure is all mine.
Well, I would have totally, it's not karaoke, buddy. You can but if you have a song you want to sing. I mean, now I want you to explain something to you. Why I gave you the moniker. That's also a name. What did I call you? The closer,
You
right?
called me the closer.
The closer.
Yes.
Why do I call you the closer?
Because I close everything I sell.
That's right. But to close, you need an opener, right? So who is your opener?
That's a trick question.
Okay,
Todd.
see, now this is the last
now you've
time.
got me stumped.
This is the last time Ethan will be on the.
Do we have any tips to help us close our own opens? Is there anything that you do?
Say that we're out there and I'm giving you a lot of hot leads, hypothetically, like I really do. And then what do you do to close these things?
You have to basically have all of your facts and figures when you talk to the client. You have to know what you're talking about. You just want to be very thorough in your presentation. Mm-hmm. You want to, once they sign with you, you want to give them the adequate attention and keep them in the loop. And it's just doing the basics, which a lot of people don't do.
A lot of people, and I don't want to say this just to make ourselves feel good, but it is true, isn't it? They say we can only sign on with News Talk if we can be part of the Right Mind Show. Now, they do understand that there's only so many slots we have open at this point, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. And so what is a typical reaction when you say, nope, I'm sorry, that slot is filled?
They don't take no for an answer, Todd.
I know, and that's why we are just
expanding the show.
Expanding the show into Sunday. Maybe is Ethan going to be like part of our Sunday show? I guess he is now.
It should be.
Mm-hmm.
It should be.
Now, did you always have like a secret inkling to be on the air?
Honestly, that's something I have had an interest in.
Yeah.
When I was at 590 The Fan, I did some of the commercials. Some of the clients liked my voice, and they wanted me to do their commercial, which I was flattered by. So I would say maybe a third of the clients I had, I voiced their commercial for them.
Okay. Well,
if I were to pick a commercial for Ethan, he's got a real guttery voice.
Yeah.
Like if we could get a gutter guy in here, you could voice him in a second.
Yeah, we need
a
gutter.
It's funny that you segue into that.
Very
because,
guttural.
Mr. Showalter has given me a lead that is dealing with gutter. So
I know.
I'm going to get down and dirty in the gutter to try to get the deal.
I even said they could have a small segment called In the Gutter,
which I love.
Ethan, it was so great seeing
you. Thank you for having me on.
We've been talking about this
Always
for a while.
Pleasure.
We have.
Always a pleasure.
You can come in anytime you like.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay.
Well, you know what they say.
Well, I've already said it. If you don't have a right mind, you don't have a mind at all. With everybody here in the room, we got Ethan, my bestest buddy, Joey V, but you're also my bestest buddy. Everybody's my bestest buddy. I'm Todd Showalter. This is The Right Mind Show. Until next week, or Sunday or Saturday, bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. To find out about all things Todd, go to toddsprod.com. We will see you next Saturday night at 5 p.m. and Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL, and always streaming online at newstalkstl.com.